That locked room was never supposed to exist. It was a crisp autumn afternoon when I noticed Jake was missing. My heart raced as I remembered our last conversation, him wanting to explore the old Winslow house at the outskirts of our town. He had always been drawn to the eeriness of abandoned places, but this time, my instincts screamed that something was wrong. Days turned to weeks, and with each passing hour, the police investigation seemed to stall. The only clue they had was his phone, discovered near the dilapidated Winslow house, its dark windows watching like hollow eyes. Despite warnings from the police to stay away, I couldn't shake off the need to find him. I knew Jake wouldn't just leave. He had plans, dreams that didn't involve disappearing without a trace. One evening, the moon hung low, casting shadows that seemed to beckon me. I stood before the Winslow house, my pulse quickening as I felt an unnatural chill in the air. The front door, surprisingly ajar, creaked as I pushed it open, revealing a musty interior consumed by decay. With my flashlight cutting through the darkness, I stepped inside. Dust motes danced in the beam, and I instinctively called out for Jake, but my voice bounced back, swallowed by the silence. As I navigated past shattered furniture and peeling wallpaper, an unsettling feeling crawled up my spine. I had to find him, I had to know what happened. I stumbled upon a narrow hallway I hadn't noticed before, its end obscured by a heavy curtain. Drawn to it, I pulled it aside and gasped. There, hidden from view, was a door. It was locked, but a sense of urgency propelled me to force it open. To my surprise, it creaked under my touch, revealing a dimly lit room that seemed to exude a cold, unnatural aura. As I stepped inside, the temperature dropped immediately. I shivered, not just from the cold but from the sudden awareness that something was watching me. The walls were lined with old photographs, each one of missing persons, faces frozen in time. I felt my heart drop as I recognized Jake among them. Panic surged through me, threatening to choke me. I stumbled back, but the door slammed shut, sealing me in. The whispers started then, soft and haunting, echoing around me. "Help me, Sarah." The voice was unmistakably Jake's, and I felt my blood run cold. I rushed to the photographs, frantic, hoping for a clue, a sign of where he might be, but each new image sent shockwaves through my mind. I discovered a series of snapshots that seemed to depict Jake's last moments, him walking towards the house, the shadowy figure lurking behind him, watching, waiting. My breath quickened as I realized the figure was more than a mere shadow, it looked like something alive, its features obscured yet terrifyingly palpable. In a corner of the room, I found a picture I never expected, one of me from years ago, staring blankly at the camera. My heart raced. How did they have this? Who had been watching me? The whispers grew louder, filling my ears with a cacophony of fear, and amidst them, I heard Jake's voice again, pleading for help. I could feel the walls closing in, the room pulsing with dread. Suddenly, the photographs began to shift, reflecting scenes of anguish that I couldn't comprehend. Each snapshot revealed more of the shadow, drawing closer to Jake, who was oblivious to the danger. I couldn't process the horror unfolding. It was as if the room was feeding off my fear, intensifying with every heartbeat. The temperature dropped even further, and I felt something brush against my arm, a cold, clammy touch that sent me reeling. "Let him go!" I screamed, desperate to break the grip of the unseen presence. But as I shouted, the lights flickered, revealing the shadow now standing inches away. It was tall, with elongated limbs that twisted unnaturally, its face a dark void. I turned to the door, but it wouldn't budge. The whispers turned into a cacophony, drowning my thoughts. Just then, a vision shot through my mind, Jake's face, twisted in terror, staring back at me from behind the door. I could feel his fear, his pain. In that moment, everything clicked. I wasn't just here to find Jake, I was part of this nightmare. The shadow lunged at me, and my instincts kicked in. I pushed against the door with all my strength, screaming Jake's name. I had to escape. I had to get out. As I finally broke free from the room, I stumbled back into the hallway, gasping for air, but the house trembled, as if enraged by my escape. But the outside world was no longer the same. I could hear the whispers still chasing me, taunting me. I ran into the night, adrenaline coursing through my veins, but when I reached the edge of the property, I turned back. The Winslow house loomed large and dark, and I could have sworn I saw a figure standing behind the window, looking right at me. I ran until my legs burned, not stopping until I reached the nearest police station. Out of breath, I told them everything. They seemed skeptical, but I insisted they had to return with me, but when they did, the house was entirely empty. No photographs, no whispers, nothing that had once held Jake or his secrets. Just a decrepit building, silent and abandoned once more. As we searched, I felt a chill in the air, a familiar one. I turned to the officer beside me, but he was staring at something behind me, something I couldn't see. My heart raced as realization struck. The house wasn't just a place, it was alive, feeding on the lost souls it had trapped. After a futile search, they concluded there was nothing more they could do. They filed a new missing person report, my name included. Weeks passed, but the nightmares continued. Each night, I could hear Jake's voice, trapped somewhere between the living and the dead. The only evidence left was a single text on my phone, the last message Jake had sent before he vanished: "Sarah, I think I found something." But when I checked the location, it led me to the Winslow house again. It was marked as a destination with no return, a place where the lost couldn't be found. I felt the weight of despair pressing against me, knowing that I was now part of the darkness that had claimed Jake. How could I tell my parents? How could I explain that I was now a missing person too? I was left with a haunting question: what really happened behind that locked door? Days turned into months, and I tried to keep my life together. But the whispers never stopped, and each time I closed my eyes, I saw the shadow creeping closer. I avoided the house, but the nightmares brought me back, night after night, begging for answers I wasn't ready to uncover. As I lay in bed one night, I heard a faint knock, a sound at my window. My heart raced. I knew that knock. It was Jake's. He was begging for help. I hesitated, but the voice was undeniable. I threw back the curtain, only to find the Winslow house illuminated in the moonlight, standing as if it were beckoning me back inside. I felt the weight of the shadow pressing against my chest, and I knew I had a choice to make. Face the darkness or remain forever haunted. With trembling hands, I reached for my phone and typed a message, but the words wouldn't come. I was trapped in a cycle of fear, unable to move forward. But deep down, I understood one thing: the house was calling to me, and there might be a way to save Jake, if only I had the courage to confront the nightmare inside. I stood up, heart pounding, ready to face whatever awaited me. But as I stepped toward the door, the whispers began to wane. They faded into silence, leaving me with the chilling thought that maybe the house knew I was coming back. And just then, I heard Jake's voice again, clearer this time, echoing in the distance: "Help me." I couldn't ignore it any longer. I had to find him, no matter the cost. As I opened the door, I felt a surge of icy air rush past me, and the world around me went dark. I had crossed a line, and there was no turning back now. What awaited me was a mystery I feared to unravel, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was about to uncover a truth too horrifying to bear. I took a deep breath and stepped forward, knowing in my heart that I was walking into the darkness, ready or not. The earlier clues made the ending feel different. The earlier clues make this ending feel different.